Hello everybody, my name is Neil and I'm your IELTS instructor, and today we'll be analyzing an essay taken from Cambridge Book 17, Test 1, Writing Task 2. Let's read and analyze this opinion essay. It is important for people to take risks both in their professional lives and their personal lives. Do you think the advantages of taking risks outweigh the disadvantages? Pay close attention to this part of the question. The question is, do you think? Meaning that the examiner wants to know your personal opinion, okay? And that's why this essay is called an opinion essay. Now let's look at my model answer. Firstly, let's look at the introduction. Taking risks related to one's occupation or personal life has become an integral consideration for some individuals. So the first sentence is called a background statement, or in other words, it's a general trend. Something is true around the world, okay? So we're talking about taking risks, and therefore here I've written taking risks related to one's occupation. Okay, so if you look at this carefully, we have professional lives, and here we have occupation. I have paraphrased this part. Next, in the personal lives, in here a personal life, okay? And I'm using the present perfect here, has become an integral consideration here for some individuals, right? So all we need to do is to paraphrase this question, okay, and we need to present it as a general trend. Next, while some can reap a number of benefits associated with risk, others face tremendous challenges. So here I would like to show two public opinions. So this is the first public opinion, this is the second one. And you can do it by using this phrase, while some can, okay? So in this case, reap a number of benefits. In this case, reap means get, a number of here basically means several, and then associated with risk, so we're talking about taking risk. Others face tremendous challenges. Tremendous means big, challenges here means difficulties, okay? So meaning that because we're talking about the advantages and disadvantages of taking risk, and therefore I have provided two different contrasting opinions. Okay, next, this essay will explain why I believe that the positives of being a risk taker far outweigh the negatives. So this is my personal opinion, okay, because the question is, do you think? And therefore here my answer is, this essay will explain why I believe that. Instead of writing I think, you just write I believe that. And instead of writing the advantages and disadvantages, here you can paraphrase by writing the positives of something, and here the negatives. Here the word positive is a noun, okay? It's not an adjective. And that's it. Next, now let's just focus on the next paragraph. One of the disadvantages of taking work-related risks is considered to be project investments. Okay, so firstly, in this paragraph, okay, I'll be talking about two disadvantages of taking major risks, okay? And you can start your sentence with one of the disadvantages of. Pay close attention to the different article. One of the disadvantages of. You can't write just one of disadvantages. One of the disadvantages of. Okay, and here is considered to be. When you use this phrase, is considered to be, that basically means that's what other people think. Okay, that's not my personal opinion, it's a public opinion. And here you need to pinpoint the exact disadvantage, and in this case it's project investments. Next, for example, A businessman may lose significant amounts of money which he has invested in recreational centers such as restaurants and movie theaters. So here you need to provide one specific example related to your disadvantage. In this case, we're talking about project investments. And here, a businessman may lose significant amounts of money. So when you invest money, you can either win or lose. And here, instead of writing much money, I've written significant amounts of money. Okay, and here, which he has invested. So here we have investments, and here invested. In what? In recreational centers such as restaurants and movie theaters. So try to be very precise in your example. Next, this is because certain unforeseen circumstances relating to natural disasters, for example, may disrupt businesses, and this could lead to bankruptcy. Okay, so here you need to explain why it is a disadvantage. If you don't explain this part, the examiner will not like it. Okay, he clearly wants to see why you think so, and you can use this structure. This is because, and then explain why. Okay, next. Similarly, those families that take the risk of moving to a completely new country may face cultural shock because of being unable to adjust to a new culture as quickly as they anticipated. So this is the second disadvantage. Why? Because if you look at the question here, it says it's important for people to take risks both in the personal, in the professional lives, and we have just analyzed business investments, and now we're talking about personal lives. Okay, and therefore I've used the word similarly, which means in a similar situation. Okay, so when you're talking about the second disadvantage here, you can use this phrase similarly. And we are talking about one more disadvantage. Okay, we just say that those families that take the risk of moving to a completely new country may face cultural shock. Here, please pay close attention to this modal verb may face, not can, but may. When you say can, that means that they will definitely do it. Okay, but may, that basically means it's 50-50. They may face or they may not face. Okay, and the examiner will also pay attention to your modal verbs to make sure that you can use them correctly here. All right, and that's it. So once again, if you look at this paragraph, we've got two disadvantages. Okay, and this is not my opinion, that's what other people think. Okay, it's a public opinion, and therefore I've used the phrase is considered to be. Okay, and if you look at this carefully, I never say I think, I believe in this paragraph. Okay, that's what other people think. All right, now let's just focus on the structure of the next paragraph. Despite the possible consequences mentioned above, taking risks in similar situation can be worthwhile. Okay, so we have spoken about the consequences, right? The negative results of taking risks. And here, let's say, despite the possible consequences mentioned above, the ones that we have already mentioned, okay, then taking risks in similar situations can be worthwhile. In this case, worthwhile here basically means it's good, it's valuable, we should do it even though there are some problems. Okay, and then for instance, although there is a potential risk, okay, so first we were talking about project investments, and you can mention here, and then the risk can help one, and here talk about the advantage of taking risk in, let's say, in investing money in one particular business. Next, as for the aforementioned natural disasters, right? Because before I mentioned natural disasters here, this is because certain unforeseen circumstances relating to natural disasters. So I'm referring back to the previous paragraph. by saying, as for the aforementioned natural disasters, and here you must explain that it's not a problem because a lot of governments take certain measures to manage this situation, and then therefore, which basically means that's why, and you must explain the outcome. Next, likewise, despite the fact that running the risk to move overseas might lead to something. As you remember, here we were talking about moving overseas. Okay, we say that yes, there is a risk, and you can use the phrase running the risk to move might lead to, and then you're talking about problems. This determined action has the potential to help an individual to, and here we're talking about one major disadvantage or even two major disadvantages here. And the expression has the potential to basically means might help. Okay. Next, now let's just look at the conclusion. So in conclusion, I'm convinced that. Remember, because the question is, do you think? Okay, and therefore here I've written I'm convinced that. That basically means I strongly believe that. And then the advantages of, and you need to talk about the advantages here, far outweigh the disadvantages of, and then you should indicate the disadvantages mentioned in the first body paragraph. All right, I hope you have understood how to use this structure, because the structure is pretty complex, because here you need to focus on the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, and then you need to compare and contrast, and then ultimately you must choose whether the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. All right, guys, if you want to see the whole essay with my explanation of the grammar and vocabulary used in this essay, you could purchase a video course on writing, okay, using the link below the video. Thank you very much, and good luck to all of you.